Hello and welcome to the first edition of Safe and Secure for the year 2021. We hope everyone is staying safe and using masks when you have to go outside. The Southfield Police and Fire Departments have stayed very busy the last few months.
Even though city offices are closed due to the notice in accordance with the most recent State of Michigan public health order, all essential public safety and public works services and departments continue to function as normal, and Southfield first responders are busier than ever.
On today's show, we revisit a few important events. The city has been offering virtual Narcan training and emergency response to opioid overdose.
Police and firefighters are being acknowledged for their contributions, and Chief Barron is among the recipients.
And the Southfield Fire Department is looking for good men and women to join its ranks.
We'll have this and more today on Safe and Secure.
The Southfield Police Department has partnered with the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, the Southfield Community Anti-Drug Coalition, and the Southfield Fire Department to put on free Narcan training for our community. The opioid problem is a national crisis and it is affecting us locally. So it's very important that this training be conducted to share with our community if you encounter anyone who's suffering from overdose, that you are prepared to administer the appropriate care to save a life. Drug overdose is the leading cause of accidental death in Michigan, surpassing homicide as well as traffic accidents. Accidental overdose deaths in Michigan are serious, with over 2,000 overdose cases reported between January 1st and June 30th, 2019. 319 were fatal. Narcan or naloxone is effective as an emergency treatment. The life-saving antidote works to reverse opiate overdoses.
1,721 lives were saved as a direct result of all of us working together to save lives. That's 1,721 families that their lives aren't being altered. Thank you. That's how important you are.
An addiction can begin with prescription opioids like Vicodin, Darvocet, codeine, Oxycontin, maybe as a result of an injury or surgery, or addiction can come from street drugs like heroin. They impact the same area of the brain. Captain Melissa Medici works with the Southfield Fire Department and has been instrumental in educating the community on a variety of life-saving techniques: first aid, CPR, and now Narcan training.
And Tracy's showing you where you're going to put it through your two fingers. Tracy, can you show them how you're holding it?
Yep, so there are ridges on the Narcan and you are going to put your fingers right on it. The plunger will be down.
Yep, you want to be careful that you don't plunge it before it's in the nose. So you're going to tilt the patient's head back, close the nose, stick that Narcan plunger all the way inside the nose, and you're going to plunge it quickly.
Residents signed up in advance for the trainings and were able to ask questions through a moderator.
Great, thank you. Next question, have businesses or hotels been trained to help in these situations?
So I'm going to grab that before I turn it over to Chief Barron. I am involved with the Auburn Hills group right now, and Auburn Hills, we're pretty excited, and I don't know if Southfield has this yet, but they, after such a tragedy occurred in August, they have issued new ordinances. So we are going to have the ability to go in and train the hotel staff, which we've been asking for.
More online virtual training will be taking place, and residents are urged to stay informed and take part.
Thank you all. Thank you, Chief Barron. Thank you, Captain Medici. Thank you, Tiffany Tilley. You know, it takes all of us collaborating together to really save lives. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, and help our communities become healthier and sustain that healthy mindset. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you guys, some of you, maybe your friends and family, on December 10th. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
It's very important that if you have any questions or concerns related to opioid use or opioid addiction, that you contact the Oakland County Health Department, the Southfield Fire Department, or the Southfield Police Department.
Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron and Detective Indasha Gray recently received the 2020 Domestic Violence Prevention Award from the Oakland County Council Against Domestic Violence for their collective efforts in protecting survivors of domestic violence while raising awareness and providing public education about this issue.
So we have a lot going on in Southfield, which is great. It's great for the community. And so first of all, we have a domestic violence committee, and part of that committee is Chief Judge Johnson with Southfield District Court, of course, the Chief of Police, the Chief of Fire and EMT. We meet together and we talk. MLK Group is there. The mayor's been a part of it. I mean, it really is a large initiative. And what we did was we met as a committee to talk about how do we bring awareness of domestic violence to Southfield, which was the genesis of the domestic violence walk that we had in October. So that was the first one, and that was amazing. Over 100 people came. It was great. So that was part of the initiative, is just being forward-facing and discussing domestic violence. The award is a very high honor, and we give it to folks that we feel like have done exemplary work in Oakland County as it pertains to working with victims of domestic violence. And so in that, anybody in the county can nominate whoever they felt like has done a good job working with survivors. And it just so happens that two folks from Southfield were nominated this year. And really, you know, for the chief, we wanted to recognize what he had been doing with all of the initiatives around domestic violence. And he has multi-tiered plans for that, and we felt that that deserved recognition. And then Detective Gray works a lot with sexual assault crimes, which is phenomenal, but also just happens to work with domestic violence as well. That sometimes can really correspond together, sexual violence and domestic violence in the same relationship. And so she's done phenomenal work as well. Something that I think is really special about her is she has this very amazing, calming presence where she doesn't feel intimidating. She feels very approachable. She feels like somebody that you would know in your real life and that you would trust. And I think that's why she's so successful in working with these women. Now, I say women, knowing that men, of course, are impacted by domestic violence and sexual assault, absolutely. But women and girls are disproportionately affected by this issue. And I think that, you know, Detective Gray just has that ability to create a space where people feel like they can talk to her, and it doesn't feel maybe as sterile as some other interpretations or preconceived notions of what law enforcement would be. She genuinely cares, and you can feel that. And she really wants to meet survivors where they're at, hear their stories, and help them get the justice that they deserve, which is such a gift to survivors, truly.
Chief Barron has been hugely instrumental in getting people excited and engaged, getting folks to participate in meetings and walks.
I think that is just one of the most special characteristics about him, is that he has the ability to connect. You see him on the news, you see him in the community, and I tell you, he is the same guy behind closed doors. He is as warm, as genuine, as caring. He's funny. He cares about his police officers too, and he cares about his community equally. And so he's excited to start things like that, to do case consults, to welcome people in and say, hey, we can make improvements. Tell us where. I have never met a police chief like him. I think that he is one in a million. I think the world of Chief Barron and of his police force. So he's also done the high risk response team on top of, you know, the march. He led the march. He was like sprinting the whole time. His energy is endless. Like, he just has something about him is just really special. So he also wanted to take a look at where does Southfield PD, what homes do they respond to the most frequently? And because obviously there's something going on there if you're responding to the home 10, 11, 12, 13 times, right? And so he really felt that it was important for Southfield PD and for EMT, as well as, you know, a victim advocate, to be able to go out to these homes and say, hey, we're concerned about you. You know, we care about you. We know that you've been going through a lot lately. Like, how can we help? And I have never seen somebody just so passionate about helping people with expecting absolutely nothing in return, and just genuinely caring, you know, about the constituents and the citizens of Southfield.
Mayor Kenton Siver had this to say: "We are fully in support of Chief Barron's efforts to raise awareness about societal problems of domestic violence, and we congratulate him on his initiative to address this issue locally."
The City of Southfield is currently seeking qualified candidates for firefighter paramedic and paramedics. Chief Menifee will tell us more.
Right now, there's a shortage of paramedics, and how we're doing with that. I just was on a phone call with the chief now, and talking about creative ways of recruitment for the fire service, and how we're going to replace firefighters. We do it all. I mean, most fire departments do it all. Very few fire departments have not taken on the EMS role. It is a very huge part of the fire service. You know, you pretty much have three parts. Of course, you have the fire, you have the EMS, and then you have the technical rescue stuff. Or if you just don't know who to call your fire department. So we take on a lot of roles. I like to say we are in the service business. We are there to help you when you're in need, whether it's fire, whether you have an EMS problem. Hey, if you're lost, you don't know what to do. Yes, if your cat's in a tree, we can help you. You know, we're here to help the citizens, visitors, and business partners of this city. That's really what we're into. Now, because of the fire systems right now and the fire codes, the fires are down, because the systems are just so well. But there's a big emphasis on EMS. I mean, it's in most departments and most suburban fire departments, it's up around 80%. I mean, and that's where the real work comes in with the EMS compared to the fire. We do put out, we do have fires. I mean, if I was to look at our statistics, we probably do a fire about once every 2 days. And when I say fire, I mean something that's really on fire. I mean, you have a kitchen, you have a garage, a car, something like that. So we do probably about 200, I would say, of real fires. We get a lot more calls than that. I mean, we get about 2,500 calls a year, but of actual real fires that we end up getting, really about of structure fires is about 200. So one every about 2 days.
Firefighters are confronted with so many types of emergencies, and a wide set of skills is required. They have to rely on each other for whatever greets them.
But medicals, we do quite a bit. We do over 12,000, close to 13,000 medical calls a year. So that's definitely where the bread and butter is, and you have everything under the sun with those. It's another family. I mean, if you like rewarding work, if you like being challenged, if you like doing something different every day, then this is definitely a place for you. If you have a good heart and you're wanting to serve, there is no better place in the fire department for a person to fulfill that and actually make a good living at the same time. I mean, there's no greater feeling that I feel is when I'm able to help someone. You meet a person on their worst day or they're in need, and you're able to help them and help change the outcome. There's no money that can give you, reward you the way that can of making you feel useful and a part of the community. And you know, you always hear about, like, even with COVID, you know, it's like, oh, I wish I could do something. I wish I could be a part of something. This job allows you to fulfill all those needs. You know, we look for individuals with good moral fiber. You know, if your mother and father didn't teach you to be a good person, then this is probably not the place for you. But if you have, you know, good characteristics, like you're honest, you have integrity, you want to be a part of a team, you're willing to work, and you're willing to accomplish something, then this is definitely a place for you. If you're wanting to serve, the fire service is definitely a place that you should look at and look at becoming part of a team. Technology has been a big part. I mean, from our CAD system in our trucks now, where you know, you call, everything is downloaded into our trucks. We have your address, we have everything loaded. It's a map, and the men and women go out now and they get in the trucks. They can push a button, everything comes up. They're en route to your house. You know, it's the technology has made things. I'm not gonna say we're working smarter instead of working harder. The days of us writing it on a piece of paper, going over, looking at the map, grabbing a map book for your apartment complex or house, and then get dressed are no more. We are really, I hate to say, Johnny on the spot. You know.
Further information on jobs is available on the city's website from the Human Resources Department.
If you like doing something different every day, then this is definitely a place for you. If you have good characteristics, like you're honest, you have integrity, you want to be a part of a team, you're willing to work, and you're willing to accomplish something, then this is definitely a place for you. If you're wanting to serve, the fire service is definitely a place that you should look at and look at becoming part of a team. Before we close today's show, we would like to say congratulations to members of the Southfield Police Force who have been promoted. Sergeant Mustafa Beasy, Sergeant Joseph Ashmore, Sergeant Eric Nelson, and Police Officer Zahara El Harani. I would also like to introduce our new Deputy Fire Chief, Antonio Macias. He comes to us with 30 years of fire experience, 22 years in the city of Pontiac, where he worked his way up through the ranks to Deputy Chief, and 8 years in the city of Auburn Hills as an Assistant Chief.
I'm Antonio Macias III. I grew up in the city of Pontiac, and from the city of Pontiac, graduated from Pontiac Catholic High School. From there, I hired in at the city of Pontiac Fire Department. I was roughly 19 years old at that time, and spent 22 years there, retired as a Deputy Fire Chief. Immediately after that, I continued my career at the city of Auburn Hills as their Assistant Fire Chief for almost the last 8 years. And really excited and looking forward to my opportunity here at the city of Southfield.
You know, change can be looked at as uncomfortable. It has stress when anyone just says change. But this is a new year. It's a new celebration. We have a vaccine for just a dreadful virus that's happening now. And this is a rebirth. And looking forward to what's new in the fire department. I think we got a great department. I think he can only help us enhance what we already have, and I'm looking forward to the possibilities of what we can accomplish together as a command staff.
Well, that's it for this edition of Safe and Secure, the first show of 2021. We know that this year will bring good things to all of us. We want to remind you that the Southfield's first responders are here to help you out. To find out more about the services offered by the City of Southfield and its police and fire departments, go to the City of Southfield's webpage.
And you can also check out our police and fire Facebook pages and Cable 15's Facebook page as well.
For everyone here at Cable 15 and the City of Southfield, we would like to remind you to always wear a face mask when you go out.
And wash and disinfect your hands often. And most importantly, we wish you a happy and safe new year and hope you stay safe and secure.